Good morning again. That's Charles McCall. Welcome back to 1 Timothy and morning devotions. Just a few thoughts for leaders from the Bible today. And today it happens to be 1 Timothy again. And so we're on chapter 3 of 1 Timothy. It deals with the qualifications of overseers, the qualifications of deacons. And so, first of all, it says, this is a faithful saying, if a man desires the position of a bishop, he desires a good thing. And so a bishop, an elder, and a pastor are three terms for the same person. A bishop is an overseer of a local congregation, is a member of an eldership team. We prefer to use the term elder. Is the Bible term that is used, but it's interchangeable with bishop and pastor. But there's a leadership team that leads a church. Very important to understand that there is a leadership team that leads the church. The elders are the leaders of the church that make decisions regarding the vision of the church and the policies of the church and where the church is going. And the deacons are those who carry out the ministries of the church. And of course, the elders are also involved in the operations of the church, involved in the ministries and activities of the church. But primarily, they're the group that will make decisions about the direction, the vision for the church. And the deacons, we don't use that term very much. In Khmer, it's just helper. And so we're looking at the children's director, the youth director, the small group director, some of the office staff, key office staff. These would be considered deacons. It's important to understand that there is a standard for God's people. For when we begin to move somebody into a helper role, an assistant role, there's not only skill qualifications and talent qualifications and spiritual gifting qualifications, but there are character qualifications. If you look at the qualifications for the elder and the deacon, they deal with character qualities. Bishop must be blameless, the husband of one wife, temperate, sober-minded, of good behavior, hospitable, able to teach, not given to wine, not violent, not greedy for money. And so these are all character qualities that we need to look before we choose someone, even to come on as a helper, that we need to look at their character quality. Now, nobody's perfect, and so we're not looking at perfect people, but this is given to us as a gauge for us to gauge the leader that we think we might want to select, for us to encourage them along the way, that there are some things in their life, in their character, that may become snares for them in the future. And it's very interesting for me to note that actually, if you look at the qualifications for an elder and a deacon, they're the same except for one point. An elder must be able to teach. And the qualifications for a deacon is not necessary for them to be able to teach. Why? Because the elders must know the Word of God to be able to lead the church. The elders lead the church according to the pattern that God has given us in the Bible, according to the principles that God has given us in the Bible. The elders make decisions according to the Word of God, and the elders are the feeders of the congregation, the primary feeders of the congregation, whereas a deacon doesn't necessarily hold that role. Now we see in Acts chapter 6 that Stephen and Philip were deacons, and Philip turned out to be an evangelist, and Stephen was a great orator and a great preacher. So that's not to say that deacons can't preach and can't teach the Bible, but it just means that the primary difference between a deacon and an elder is an elder must be able to teach, must know the Word of God, and must be able to teach and make disciples, and must be able to train leaders. And so this becomes a standard for us as we're looking for helpers and raising up leaders in the church. But it also becomes a goal for us. As I'm preparing a track to train leaders, and if I want them to be at a higher level position, then I have to deal with the moral character of the leader. And I have to deal with some of the family issues of the leader, have to deal with the spouse of the leader, and we have to deal with the ability of the leader in regards to the Word of God. And so it's very important. We don't want to be too strict and too slow, but we don't want to be too fast either. I find that in Cambodia, the tendency is to be too lenient. everybody is called a pastor. Anybody can step up to leadership regardless of their character. And so maybe in the United States or elsewhere, it's the opposite, is that too strict and wait too long. And so we have to be conscious of maintaining a balance in that area. But the point is that there is a standard for leadership, there is a standard for deaconship. And so as a Christian leader, we need to keep that in mind as we're looking to train leaders and making disciples.